This is a Film Stories original podcast.
Welcome to the X-Cast X-Files Podwatch episode 55. Today we're going to be talking about season 5 episodes 11 and 12, which are Kill Switch and Bad Blood. I am your host today, I'm Andrew Brooker, and with me again is Mr. Baz Greenland. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, welcome back.
Yes, always a pleasure.
So we've got a couple of interesting episodes today.
Yeah. I mean, they're both. I mean, one is obviously much more superior than the other. Bad Blood is a really great episode, and I think definitely a fan favourite. It's one of the ones I think is the highest rated on IMDb. Kill Switch is a bit more of an interesting one. It's not bad actually, and I'm kind of the opinion that season 5 is probably the only season really I don't think has a bad episode. It doesn't have, they're not all great, but no. I kind of find season 5 has such a consistency to it, I think, that even in the earlier seasons, they had some clunkers. And I don't really feel that season 5 has a clunker.
No, I think I'd agree with you there.
Yeah. That said, I think Kill Switch is kind of on the lower end of the pedigree, should we say?
Yeah, I think the problem Kill Switch has got more than anything else is it's just its subject matter. It's dated.
Oh, terribly, yeah.
And it dated very quickly as well, unfortunately, as most things that involve, or most things that revolve around computers do.
Yeah, the X-Files doesn't seem to have a good track record with kind of killer computers. I mean, it's better than Ghost in the Machine.
It's much better than Ghost in the Machine.
And obviously much superior than First Person Shooter, which was dire.
Which was written by the same guy, funnily enough.
Oh, well, there you go. It's the best killer computer-based X-Files episode they did there. We'll call it. It's not bad. I did enjoy it. There was some surprising. It's not what I'd watched for quite a long time, actually. I recently did work way for a lot of the X-Files when I was revisiting episodes for the digital fix. This is why I didn't actually look at this episode. So it was it'd been one that had... I say it was a good 4 or 5 years since I'd watched it, and there were some surprises, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's been about a year since I watched Kill Switch, and I did. Actually, it might have been a bit longer because the last time I binged the X-Files, might have been for season 10 or just before season 10, and I got to a point where I was going to run out of time, so I'd done the mythology episodes just on their own. So so it might be a couple of years from my last viewing as well. And like you say, it's not garbage. But it ain't the greatest episode I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it does...
The opening is quite fun, though. I think the idea of this killer computer sending people phone calls to these gangs all to one place to kill each other just to kill off this character who's threatening to destroy is quite a cool idea, I think. But I don't think it really delivers on the... I mean, it's not amazing, but it's certainly quite fun. I don't think the episode then delivers on the promise of that afterwards.
No, it really doesn't. It does, like you say, it's got a great opening, a very tense opening as well. When you kind of see what's coming, but you're still on the edge of your seat watching it play out. Funnily enough, actually, this episode was written by William Gibson, a guy who I only know from he wrote the very awful 1995 Keanu Reeves techno thriller Johnny Mnemonic, which, funnily enough, also hasn't aged particularly well. But it was also directed by Rob Bowman, who we spoke about on a previous episode, saying how he's got some pretty good form, having done Endgame and then 731.
Yeah, and the movie. So Rob Bowman directed this episode?
He did.
Oh, it's exciting in bits then, I guess.
They're a bit more forgiving of it now.
Yeah, it's Bob Bowman, so I'm trying to be a bit positive, maybe.
But it is, it does have some good ideas, but like we said, it dates itself very badly. It doesn't deliver on its opening sequence, which is absolutely amazing.
And I guess it's slow-paced for what should be a really fast-paced sci-fi thriller.
Yeah. It does feel like it either needs... Well, it preferably needs to not have existed, but what it really needs is to be a TV movie It needs a little bit more time and a lot more exposition, I think.
Yeah, it could have been an incredibly exciting episode. But yeah, it just kind of ticks along, and you've got this character in Visigoth who is a bit of a cliche in herself. I mean, I do like the Lone Gunmen's kind of adoration of her. Like she program moves on a game called Ninjutsu Princess.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I do like Scully's kind of general attitude towards her. She's like, she completely dismisses her. You know, your name is Astra, and then it's like, you know, she is. I guess you can take the best bit of that character is her connection to Scully in this episode, who is just I mean, Scully is it's almost like season 1 Scully. She's completely dismissive.
Yeah.
Almost the point of comedy, like the scene when they find her in this what's it called, the
shipping container.
That's the one, yeah. And they got this satellite going to destroy her, and Scully's like, yeah, no, that'd be ridiculous. And you're thinking, get out. And Scully's there, oh, I don't believe you. It's like, just stop it, get out there, get out. You know,
stop arguing about it and leave quickly.
But it's kind of amusing. I mean, it gets better as it goes. It starts off strong, meanders along for a bit, has a couple of nice ideas, and it's a bit hokey at the end, but it's quite fun. The bit where Mulder eventually gets to the kind of the caravan where all the machines hooked up and gets stuck into the machine. It's just like Superman 3, which terrified me as a kid. The woman gets trapped in the machine and becomes this big cyborg thing, and that's kind of what that reminded me of. It's all a bit hokey, but I kind of guess I had that moment of horror that terrified me as a child kind of came back. So maybe there's something there. And
it is very much. It does follow the same kind of rules as things like Johnny Mnemonic and Lawnmower Man and kind of dude.
I quite like Lawnmower Man, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it for years, so I might change my opinion now. But I seem to remember quite enjoying that.
It is one of those films, again, like this episode, like Johnny Mnemonic, that when you watch it years down the line, you look at it and go, I can see why I liked it. I'm a little ashamed that I liked it.
Maybe I'll leave it alone then. Yeah.
Techno thrillers in general do that. I don't think that's the fault of the genre. It's just it is what it is. It's
stated, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you've got Mulder accidentally falling into a VR headset, which may be the hokiest thing I've seen in quite a while.
It is. It is.
Next to the sparks that are put on in post-production.
Oh god, yeah, it's maybe we're being too positive with the episode. I don't know, but the dream sequence, you know, it's a dream sequence. So there's no tension because you know it's a dream sequence when he's in his room. But even before they reveal he's had his arm cut off, and you've got these sexy nurses in red fingernails and stuff. You know, it's like it's just a bit silly. But of course, my favourite scene is the scene in the dream when Scully turns up and starts spin kicking these three sexy nurses out. Is it like some kind of perverted Mulder fantasy? I don't know what it is, but I loved it. It was so funny.
Oh, I thought it was amazing. I think it kind of falls into the. It looks at Mulder's kind of got that habit of being the guy that watches the porn. So he has definitely fallen into one of his pornos.
Yeah.
And to somehow then have ninja kicking Scully turn up in it as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very good. And I think that saves the episode. Maybe that's why it's not terrible, because that's just such a fun scene. I think that that and the opening do redeem it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
It's not, so it doesn't become another Ghost in the Machine or another first-person shooter. It's better than that, at least.
Yeah. It's a fun episode, and I think it's one of those episodes, as long as you've got the ability to realise that A, it's 20 years old, you know, B, it's supposed to be a bit of fun. As long as you've got the ability to turn your brain off for a bit, it's still a really fun episode, but it's...
Yeah, I agree.
It's not the greatest, not by a long shot.
No, but it's fun, I say, and I think it maintains season 5 consistency of not doing a dull of an episode. It's just one of the weaker ones.
Well, it's it, but like I say, season 5 was, you know, and is one of the best seasons of television ever, not just of the X-Files, but of most TV. So, and it, you know, even across 23, 24 episodes, you can't have it all be top-notch TV. It's impossible. So for some of it to just be a bit average, I think is okay.
Yeah.
So I think we might need to move on to our next episode, which is Bad Blood.
Oh, I've got a lot of time for Bad Blood. That's fine. We can talk about that for a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, again, it's one of those episodes that I think I must have skipped out on it last time I binged, and I watched it today, and I could not believe that I'd forgotten how funny this episode was.
Yeah, it's. And there's a reason I think it's the highest ranked episode on IMDb, because it's funny as well. That it's just a joy to watch from beginning to end. I personally prefer the Darren Morgan stuff, so things like Clive Roberts' Final Repose and Jodie Jung's About Space, and then Mulder Screaming the Weremonster in the latest series. I prefer those. I'm more Darren Morgan, but I guess he's slightly more of an acquired taste. This one's a bit more accessible, I think, which is probably why it's rated so highly.
Yeah, it is one of those episodes as well, because I remember it was a few years ago, and I was trying to get the wife into watching the X-Files. I don't expect anybody that hasn't watched the X-Files yet to be into it as much as I am. But I was like, have a watch and see what that. And I remember there were a couple of episodes, and this would definitely have been one of them. There are a few episodes that are genuinely laugh out loud funny. And even in the new season with the Weremonster in season 10, completely just bananas. Yeah. Absolutely mental episodes, and I genuinely forgot how funny this episode was. And it's one of those episodes where I go, you have to... X-Files is aliens, it's monsters, but then every now and then it will throw in a curveball, and this is one of those. It's a Monster of the Week episode that will literally have you in tears laughing.
Definitely. Yeah, it's great. And I think the real hook really is this whole two versions of the same story, isn't it? And it's done many times before, but when it's done right like this, it can be something really, really fun. And I think just seeing, obviously it has a great opening when Mulder stakes fake with the fake vampire, then goes "Osh" and then cuts the credits. Yeah, there's no bad language really, but which I find there isn't much bad language in X-Files actually, which
there never was much. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? And it's something that it's one of those weird American idiosyncrasies that the language is a real no-no in a lot of television, but some of the stuff they will show is absolutely insane in comparison. Yeah. And the X-Files is a great tell of that. You look at episodes like Home, which was horrible, just a horrible episode, but no swearing, none at all, anywhere.
Don't get me wrong, I don't like shows that kind of just use swear for swearing's sake. It's got to be used right. But I just when they do that "Osh" and they cut the title sequence, it kind of reminded me that actually this is a show they've shown plenty of quite nasty horror. Yeah. And then even though the new series, the Band-Aid Man from People Apart, the new episode, reminded me, and I watched it, reminded me just how horrific the X-Files could be. And Home's a prime example. But yeah, it's never gone down the bad language. It's almost like it's trying to maintain a more accessible audience. I don't know, which is it's a bit odd, but
it's an odd thing to remove to make your show accessible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, but you're right. Yeah. There's no need for the swearing, and the TV show it tends not to bother me when TV shows swear a lot. Anybody that's seen more than 5 minutes of me on Twitter knows that language doesn't bother me, even in the slightest. But sometimes, if it's not used right, if I'm looking at it going, yeah, that's too much. You've definitely done something wrong. So to not have the opportunity to say that at all in the X-Files is great. You don't need the language, but of course for this one as well, it's also played for the laugh.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because we get it a little bit later on as well when Mulder is stoned and singing the Shaft theme song.
I love that bit, yeah.
Which is absolutely brilliant.
It's the best bit of that is theme Shaft, and then Scotty tells me, he goes, "I did not." It's like such a vehement reaction. That's the whole thing. It's playing, and that's what when you do get these moments, it's them coming back to the present, and kind of reacting to what the other person's saying is brilliant. Yeah,
he did not have buck teeth.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with the show is, Luke Wilson is one of his earlier roles, isn't it? And it's great the fact that obviously what happened is they went there. Scully quite fancied the local sheriff. he probably had a bit of thing for Scully too. Never really went anywhere. So from Scott, so obviously, so he's quite suave more suave than maybe he was in Scully's version, and then to Mulder's version, he's this bucktooth hillbilly. So it's great, and they play it so well because I think what's really good about this is that it plays on what Mulder and Scully's perceptions are of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so. And it plays on their relationship as much as it plays on the story that happened at the time. And again, you know, I couldn't believe I hadn't watched it in so long. I was like, I'm blown away at just how good this episode is. And like I say, fully deserving of being the highest rated episode of the X-Files on IMDb, because it's pitch perfect, more or less, from start to finish.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of my favourites.
So, I mean, any other favourite? I'll tell you what, actually, probably my most favourite bit, the bit that made me howl the most, would be Mulder trying to chase away vampires with a crucifix made of breadsticks.
Yeah, that was brilliant, yeah. It's just, I know, it's just the idea, I mean, that's it. It gets really hokey. I mean, it immediately falls a bit with the vampires and the headphones and the coffin. Then you got that bit. Then you got the whole town with glowing green eyes, and it's like it's like trying to be out of a thriller video. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, him riding the rocking coffin like a bucking bronco as well.
Yeah,
was just like, every scene in this episode has a great moment in it, but not just a great X-Files moment, a great properly laugh out loud moment. It was I can't think, like, off the top of my head, I can think of a couple of episodes that are very, very funny. We're Monster definitely is near the top of that list. I can't think of any that beat this one.
For me, Josie Chung's from Outer Space does.
Okay,
That's so ridiculous that I think it's kind of slightly more of a Marmite episode. I think because it's really taking the mick out of the X-Files, the whole mythology of it. So it's but yeah, I agree. This one is a bit more accessible to a more general audience. I think it's not too extreme, but it's just I mean, you talk about what's our favourite scene. Well, my favourite scene is every scene in a way. It's just I mean things from the two versions of the opening scene when Scott the character was exuberant. Mulder go, "It's a cow!" It's like as he shows as he brings back his cat examination slideshow back from season 1's Eve.
Yeah.
And then in Mulder's version, he's like, "I don't want to go to Dallas," and she's just she's so down.
It's a cow.
Exactly, it's a cow. and then of course there's the scene where they're talking to the sheriff about a dead body and it's it's the same dialogue but done so differently with Scully's trying to saying, well, obviously someone's seen too many Bela Lugosi movies, and yet in Mulder's version she's being really dismissive and like she's putting faces behind him as he speaks about vampires. It's great. It's like this is what they really think of each other. It's like really be working together. This is what they they've gone for a lot at this point. They've gone through death and cancer and abductions. They are so close at this point, and that's probably why one of the reasons season 5 is so good, because they're so connected. But yeah, it's still nice to see those how they perceive each other as kind of the exaggerated versions. Definitely.
Yeah, I love Scully just losing her mind with the autopsy. Yeah, there's a heart.
Throwing the guts in there, yeah.
Just intestines everywhere. There you go. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the episode. To be fair, literally from start to finish, it's one of the greatest episodes of television ever made.
It's such a joy to watch. It's one you could watch again and again, and it's just it's so funny. It's a great classic idea, two sides, two versions of the same story, but it's just done perfectly. It's Vince Gilligan who writes one, isn't it?
It was Vince Gilligan that wrote it.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, he's written a lot of great stuff, and I think it's a shame that he's not able to. I think he's too busy with Better Call Saul to come back and do a new X-Files. But it's a shame because he wrote some great stuff, and I think this is
one of his best ones, I think, and I would kill to see him. Just his name come up on one, because I think we're getting 10 episodes for the new season, aren't we? Just one of them. Just give one of them to Gilligan and let him do his thing.
It would be lovely, yeah. But anyway, we can dream.
Yeah, we can. I think it will. That's all it will be as well, sadly. But yeah, it's a perfect episode for people that haven't watched the X-Files as well. So, you want to get somebody into the X-Files, this would be the way to do it, I think.
Definitely. And then go back and show them something like Squeeze, so it's not all comedy.
Well, yeah, it's not all funny. You've got to watch a dude pushing himself through a chimney for fun.
Yes, absolutely.
So that, I think, wraps up our episode 55 of Podwatch. So we'll get this done very quickly. So you come and follow us on Twitter. We are at the X_cast on Twitter, and our Facebook page is the X-Files Basement and X-Files Podcast fan group. I believe the next episode, tomorrow's episode, will be Patient X and the Red and the Black. A couple of interesting episodes to follow this one up with.
Yeah.
But again, season 5, they're all good episodes. So yeah, and so thanks for listening, guys, and until next time, trust no one.